Shalom, holy friends from around the world. We continue with new Chiddushei Torah that I wrote this week. I take a pasuk from the Tanakh and I try to break it down as much as I can, and also give some practical advice. So the pasuk this week I took was Kisheva Yipol Tzadik V'Kam Urshayim Yikoshlu V'Ra. A righteous man falls down 7 times and gets up. Shlomo Melech said this in Proverbs in Mishlei 24:16. So it's a very interesting pasuk. That a righteous man is going to fall down 7 times. So why 7 times? And then he gets up. What's this all about? So let's continue. So what does a righteous man do? He never gives up and throws in the towel. Rather, he sees his downfalls as a new opportunity to start anew. If you take the first letters of every word of the pasuk and calculate them, you receive the numerical gematria value of 444. Sharing this total is the word yoledes. Shall bear. The person shall bear. Now, the idea of bearing and becoming new is the idea of 7. There are 7,000 years of the world. There are 7 days of the week, which Hashem gave birth to, and the 70. Okay. Now, if you take the last letters of every word and you calculate them from this pasuk, Kisheva Yipol Tzadik V'Kam Urshayim Yikoshlu V'Ra, a righteous man falls down 7 times and gets up. Now we did the first letter of each one. Now we go and take the last letter of each word. We calculate them, we get the numerical value of 301. This is also the word sa, which means to lift up and forgive. Forgive the trespass of the servants of Hashem, thy father. That word is used in Bereshis, in Genesis 50:17. In order to lift ourselves back up, we need forgiveness from Shemayim, from heaven. What is remarkable about forgiveness is how Hashem many times has already forgiven us before we even confess our averos, our sins to Him. As the pasuk says in Tehillim, when I said, I will confess my transgressions to Hashem, you had already forgiven the iniquity of my sin. Psalms 32:5. Now, sharing the same value of 301 is also the word rofeichem, that heals you. After one's fall, one is healed both physically and spiritually. It is this fall that heals you and that returns your soul with a new excitement to serve Hashem. Like the word Aish, which is also gematria of 301, that rekindles your soul and enables you to serve Hashem all anew. Now, Daniel, the holy Daniel, and his friends were put to the test of fire. Like we just mentioned the fire, so we're leading into the next idea. And it says that it was heated 7 times more than normal. And we'll get to that pasuk in a moment. And this shows that the idea that the righteous man is tested 7 times, and he can leave unscathed from anything physically protruding his path. Now, Nebuchadnezzar was hoping the 4 scholars had a limit in their emunah, their faith in Hashem. And under enough torture and pressure, they would conspire against Hashem. Tossing the rabbis into the flame and seeing no results, Nebuchadnezzar was filled with fury. He exclaimed and commanded his men to heat the furnace 7 times more than it was normally heated. He explained and said, Behold, I see 4 unbound men walking in the fire, and there is no wound on them, and the appearance of the 4th one is like that of an angel, says Daniel 3:19-26. So out of the blue, we're reading Daniel, and then it says this idea of the 7 times extra to put that fire extra heat. So this 7 is referring, because this is how I do this lesson, it's referring to this pasuk. A righteous man falls 7 times and gets up. And what happened to Daniel and the rabbis? They walked out unscathed. Not only more unscathed, but their emunah was even stronger. They were even closer to Hashem. So in life, we are constantly tested to see if we remain faithful to Hashem. It may not be through actual fire, but in our own way, we each get thrown into the confusions of the world with the ultimate goal of leaving unfringed. Now let us now return to the Pasuk. When I said, I will confess my transgressions to Hashem, you had already forgiven the iniquity of my sin, Selah. Psalms 32:5. So why would Hashem already forgive someone before they confess to Him? Doesn't that defeat the logic of tshuva and repentance? Well, there are many types of sin. There are sins that a person does accidentally, and those he actually runs after purposefully. Our accidental sins are more in number than those that we do purposefully. I mean, who in their right mind would sin against Hashem? Well, He is at that very moment shedding light upon you, giving you the very breath in which you're going to use against Him, as it says in Torah. Maybe then you could say that almost all sins then are because a person loses their minds in some way. Right? Who could sin against Hashem purposefully? It must be that you lost your mind. And Hashem examines a person under duress, it says in Baba Kama 28b. But you cannot fool Hashem, because it says Hashem knows the thoughts of man, that they are vanities, as in Psalms 94:11. So using the I was in duress card, so to speak, can only work if we aren't thinking about it while we're actually committing the error. If we're able to think, we're usually able to stop ourselves and distract ourselves in some way from continuing on that path. Now, the word Sheva Yipo, 7 times, that's used in this pasuk. The original pasuk is, a righteous man falls down 7 times and he gets up, King Solomon said. So the word Sheva Yipo is Gematria 498, which is the word Yiftach, shall open. This is because through falling down, we open new doors in Avodas Hashem, in our service of God. Without a fall in some way, you cannot justify a gain. But these struggles we go through are not going unnoticed by Hashem. Sheva Yipo is also the value for Minchas. The meal offering we give to Hashem as a karban. Our struggles in life are like karbanos. They're offerings to Hashem. They do not go unrewarded. And Hashem is there throughout all of our struggles. If wherever I said my foot has slipped, your kindness, Hashem, upheld me, as it says in Psalms 94:18. Now, Rabbi Nachman teaches us in Kuti Maran 237 that the main purpose of life is only to serve Hashem and to follow His ways, for the sake of His name, in order to acknowledge Him and to come to know Him. So if the purpose of life itself is to know Hashem, why would it matter if we go up or down when He's always there? If I would ascend to heaven, it says in Psalms, you're there. And if I make my bed in the grave in hell, you're also there. Psalms 139:8. So to be honest, I think sometimes I know Hashem better when I'm down than when I'm up. Because when I'm up, everything is going well. So I don't really feel like I need Him. But when I'm down, I'm fearless, as Hashem is right beside me. As it says, though I walk in the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. Famous pasuk in Tehillim 23. As a parent, I can tell you that when my children are doing well in school and life, I seem to forget to spend so much time with them. When they're struggling, I'm reminded that they need me, and make more of an effort to give them time to show them that I care, and that I walk with them through all their struggles. It isn't that Hashem isn't with the person when they're up. It's that He's watching from the sidelines, happy to see your success. Dovka nafshi acharecha bi tamcha yiminecha. My soul cleaves after you. Your right hand supports me. Psalms 63:9. As I reflect upon my own avodas Hashem, I'm reminded many times that I fell down simply because I was up. And and then didn't know what to do with myself. I was so used to being down and finding Hashem through struggles that when things are going well, I simply get bewildered. Does it seem strange I need support while I'm up? Sometimes even more so than when I'm down? The words, your right hand supports me. Bi tamcha yiminecha has a numerical value of 607, which is also related to the word vatera, and she saw. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was a delight to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of its fruit and did eat, and gave also to her husband with her, and he did eat, says in Bereshis 3:6. You see, when our eyes are open and we see Hashem more clearly, is that when we need Hashem to watch over us with His right hand all the more? Right? From the original pasuk we just said, well, not the original, but the one we just said, my soul cleaves after you, your right hand supports me. And we ask, well, why, if we're already cleaving and searching for Hashem, why do we need Hashem to support us? And we say, when you're up, you have your own difficulties. Okay, so and then we brought in here, why did the Adam and Eve eat from the Eitz Hadas? They were up. Okay, so let's continue. So why did they eat from the Eitz Hadas? Because of pride. They saw that they were close to Hashem, and therefore they desired to not just be like Him. Right, we're supposed to emulate the midos of Hashem, but they wanted to be Him. It was the idea of seeking the wrong type of wisdom. Now, Rabbi Nachman teaches that within wisdom, there are stumbling blocks. They can enable a person to fall and to have to get back up through emunah, through faith. The final letters of through rods, Sheva Yipo Sadik Vakam, spell out the word Amalek. For Amalek is the stumbling block to the 7 wisdoms on which people fall, God forbid. Kutimar 19. Now a person falls from the level because they don't have balance in their life. They cleave to Hashem, they thirst for Him, but they really don't know how to serve Him with balance. It is as if it's like they're drinking water out of a tap, but without a filter. Torah is chachma, but it takes bina and das to apply it to practical use. So how do you gain perspective so that you don't stumble so frequently, and that when you do, you have structure to fall back upon? Well, this is a complicated discussion. Chazal teach that a person should have one eye where they're actually holding in life, and one eye on their potential. If we know and understand where we're truly holding in life, then we'll study Torah and grow at the proper pace. The Maggid of Medrash, the successor of the Baal Shem, explain this other aspect of the Vekas. A Jew must know that when he is challenged or becomes overwhelmed by the circumstances of life, it's a message that Hashem wants him to come closer. Instead of focusing on the hurt, it is more advantageous to become aware of the distance that has come between himself and the Creator. This feeling of Dveikis, it can be used to launch a spiritual ascent. In fact, a seemingly small disappointment can be used in this manner. The sages say that even if one put his hand in his pocket expecting to find 2 coins, and he found only 1, is a message from Hashem, come closer, He's urging. Now furthermore, the Maggid explains that after a person had some spiritual achievements and feels the Vekas with Hashem, more likely than not he will experience a fall. Nevertheless, he must maintain his Dveikis with Hashem, even if it dips to a very low and weak level. As long as he remembers that his Dveikis to Hashem is left an indelible watermark upon his soul, he has what is necessary to begin his ascent anew. As is written, a tzaddik falls 7 times and rises again. And he will be able to rise again in an even higher level of the Veikis. It says in the Kutei Hikarim. We continue, second part. King Shlomo writes in Mishlei 9:1, with all forms of wisdom, she did build her house, she carved out its 7 pillars. The number 7 refers to many things, including the 7 wisdoms. The 7 books of the Torah, it says in Shabbos, or Shabbos 115b. In the 7 places where Hashem gave the Torah, from his mouth, face to face, from the heavens, from our Sinai, in the Olam Moed, in Transjordan, in Zion, it says in Yeshio, from Zion the Torah shall go forth. Now Rashi, the foremost the commentary on the Chumash, explains, commentary on the Tanakh, explains that the 7 pillars are in reference to the 7 days of creation. The beginning of the creation was a time of complete potential that slowly became realized day by day until the creation was complete. The light of the menorah lit in the Beis Hamikdash also represents the idea of the 7 wisdoms. The Torah commands Aaron the high priest, when you light the lamps towards the center of the menorah, shall the 7 lamps cast light towards the center. Now why must the 6 other lights bend towards the center light? According to the Maharal and Rabbi Yochanan Aishbitz, the 7 branches of the menorah in the Holy Temple represent the 7 pillars of secular wisdom, knowledge, and science. Rabbeinu Bechaya lists these 7 sciences as logic, language being one together, mathematics, and then physics and chemistry, geometry, trigonometry, music, astronomy, divine wisdom, and theology. The center lamp of the menorah represents the light of Torah, which all the other branches face. Rabbeinu Bechai explains that the central shaft of the menorah that holds all the branches together is the knowledge of the wisdom of Hashem. The other branches of the menorah are only offshoots of divine wisdom. It says in Psalms 111, Reishis Chachma Yiras Hashem, the source of wisdom is the fear of God. The Vilna Gaon, disciple Rabbi Yisrael Shklov, writes in Pias HaShulchan, the Vilna Gaon explains that all the secular wisdom, he says, is essentially for our holy Torah. And it's included in it. It's all included in the Torah. Rabbi Yisrael indicated that the Vilna Gaon had mastered all the branches of secular wisdom and knowledge. But how did he do this? He did this for this vast knowledge and studied the Talmud, which includes all of wisdom. The Hebrew word for nature, Hateva, has gematria equivalent to Elokim, the name of Hashem associated with his kingship over nature. It is the name Elokim that is used throughout the entire first chapter in Bereshis in describing the act of creation. The 32 times that this name occurs corresponds to the 32 paths of wisdom. The name Elokim represents understanding. It is the nature that it is nature that gives us an understanding that not only is Hashem our creator, but that he surrounds us with his remarkable craftsmanship at every moment. The Rambam explains on the verse in Parshas Kisisa that when Moshe asked Hashem to show me your glory, Hashem answered him, I will make all my goodness pass before you, and you will see my back. The Rambam explains Hashem's answer as follows. If you want to see Hashem, it's only by an indirect way, through the study of nature and natural sciences. This was said explained through Rev. Ephraim Spricher from a diaspora yeshiva. Now we learn in Kabbalah that water is compared to wisdom. The element of water is very soothing to both see and listen to it. If a person feels a disconnect, visiting a stream or a lake can have a relaxing effect. Nature is Hashem's hint to us that He is there everywhere we travel. If we can't seem to connect to Him spiritually, there's always a physical presence of nature that surrounds us that can open our heart and draw us closer to Him. As great as these seven wisdoms are, the common man without Torah guidance will stumble through not only secular wisdom, but even through Torah wisdom itself, when not learned properly. Whoever is wise, let him understand these things. Whoever is prudent, let him know them. The ways of Hashem are right, and the just do walk in them, but the transgressors shall stumble in them. It says in Hosea 14:9. That is why it is best to learn one's knowledge of the Torah from a proper rabbi. Then, great is the peace of those who love your Torah, and there is no stumbling for them. It says in Psalms 119, 165. 7 times a day I praise you because of your righteous mandates. It says in Psalms 119, 164. Sheva Bayom is numerically equivalent to 430. This shares the word nefesh, which is also 430, which represents life and soul. A person must go through each day the trials and tests, because this is a part of life. Rav Kanievsky said each day a person should complete the study of 7 pages of Talmud, and then afterwards you could learn whatever you want. I said this to my Rosh Yeshiva. Now, there are 7.5 blocks of Talmud one should study each day in order to complete the Talmud yearly. Through the study of the pages of the Talmud, one finds life instead of experiencing daily trials, physical trials in their life. One fulfills the ups and downs that you would normally experience throughout your day through the arguments and deep discussions in the Talmud itself. So this is my own chiddush. Now, this is why it is so important to delve into a page of Talmud every day. One who studies Talmud profusely doesn't have time for life's distractions, so therefore Hashem makes life easier to accommodate his Torah study. But this is only if he puts his entire heart and life into the study. And wisdom is something that must be built up with structure. A person doesn't learn calculus without first having gone through basic math and algebra. When it comes to the Torah study, it is common for people to skip around and not to create a foundation which to build further learning upon. They're simply doing themselves an injustice by this. While it's important that someone studies the subject that they enjoy, priority should be to getting a proper footing in study and knowledge. Okay. I once asked the Honer Steipler Rebbe how Rav Chaim Vital was able to become a fitting vessel to learn Torah from the Ariya Kodesh. He answered with a serious stare in his eye. He said every day he immersed in the mikveh without fail. He began by learning the Tanakh, the Bible. He followed this by learning the Mishnah. Afterwards he learned the Talmud, and only then did he learn the Kabbalah. Now, as a square of 7 times 7 would be 49, which denotes a complete cycle within the physical universe. The holiday of Shavuos takes place exactly 50 days after the first Seder of Pesach. This parallels the 50 gates, Sharim of wisdom, Chachma. The word Shavuos means weeks. It marks the completion of the 7-week Omer counting through this period of counting. There's deep reflection the soul must make in order to receive the proper revelation of Torah on Shavuos. The 50 days of the Omer parallel the 50 Shari Bina. The word Bina further relates to Binyan, building. The count of the Omer towards Shavuos is a process of building where a Jew builds himself up from a zoli level of an animal up to the spiritual heights of a godly being as he endeavors to transcend the natural, to touch this supernatural realm where he can gain a clear perception of Hashem. In its singular form, the word Torah is said to occur 50 times inside the Torah. So the Rukeach says it in the Devarim 6:7. It is the goal of every Torah scholar to reach the highest level of wisdom and understanding, but the highest level humanly possible is 49 gates. It is Hashem who enables a person to make this final leap from 49 to 50. The human being who passed through the full 49 gates was Moshe. However, the final gate, the 50th, still lay beyond his grasp. The secret of this ultimate step would lie in the secret of the nature of Yovel, the 50th year. Now the progression from 49 to 50 has its precedent. The stepping stone from 7 to 8. The soul is likened to the seventh center of holiness within the body that sanctifies the 6 directions of the physical world towards the spiritual pursuits. Through this process, the soul is able to elevate itself and the body within it towards perfection. In number terms, the 7 is elevated beyond to reach 8, which is synonymous with entry into the higher transcendental plane. At the arrival of 50, similarly marks the entry into this exalted state. This is an excerpt from the Jewish Wisdom of Numbers book. Now, since the idea of receiving complete wisdom can only come from Hashem's blessing, you would think that we could just have this potential ourselves. It isn't like climbing up the 49 gates was easy. Why does Hashem personally have to give us this exalted state? And didn't all the 49 gates previously also require His hand? Why suddenly now we need this extra hand to get from 49 to 50? Now I think it might be because Hashem wants to remind us that the Torah is His gift to us. As much as we grasp, the less we know, and the more we see the necessity to pray for more wisdom from Him, from whom wisdom belongs. As it says in Daniel, let the name of Hashem be blessed forever and ever, for wisdom and power belongeth to Him. David HaMelech prays to Hashem, teach me, Hashem, the way of your statutes, and I will keep them at every step. Give me understanding, and I will keep your Torah, it says in Psalms 119:33. Say to wisdom, thou art my sister. Beautiful pasuk. And call understanding thy is woman, that they may keep thee from the strange woman, from the alien woman who makes smooth her words, it says in Proverbs 7:4. So Rashi explains, you are my sister, as the idea of drawing her near to you. Now Rashi explains further in Shir Shirim 7:8, the word achot is an expression of ichui, which means the joining, the idea of joining. In order to grasp the Torah, one must not only draw it near to you, you must be joined with it and to live it in your very being. And you must be sure to stay clear from the alien woman who perverts the words of the Torah. Right? So the pasuk, say to wisdom, you are my sister. Right? Now, who are those who pervert the words of the Torah? Quite obviously, it would be those who teach Torah for personal gain, honor, and the like. However, we sometimes miss the ideal importance of surrounding ourselves with Torah-minded people. There is a saying, a person is a composite of the 3 people they spend the most time with. While friendships can be beneficial in having a support system around us to assist us in getting through the ups and downs in life, the wrong friends can be a stumbling block. It is the smooth words of the alien woman, as that pasuk was mentioning, or so-called friend that leads us in a wrongful and a confused path. Now there are 7 spheres of Chesed, Gvura, Tiferes, of Zer Anpin, Netzach, Hod, Yisod, and Malchut. Malchut is called 7 because it contains these 7 levels. These spheros, we learn in Kabbalah, are also known as midos, emotions that enable us to relate to Hashem in terms that we understand. All light that comes to us in the world flows through these 7 midos. We learn from observing Hashem's midos how we too should act in life. For instance, as Hashem has chesed, He's kind and merciful, so should we be. By perfecting our 7 midos throughout our life, we go through the trials of a righteous man falls down 7 times and gets up. Ki sheva yipol tzadi v'kam v'sham yikalu v'ra. So that concludes the Dvar Torah, and this was a very interesting pasuk. I saw this pasuk and I said, what does this mean? And I found it to be very deep, very important. I think the most remarkable thing was really the idea of Daniel. I really liked that. I stumbled upon I was actually looking up a reference on something else that had to do with the idea of 7, and I just accidentally, it wasn't accident, I just opened the Tanakh and suddenly saw this idea of Daniel. And the furnace being heated up 7 times. I thought that was very interesting. But it's very great when you can meditate, for a few days on a pasuk and try to really get to its roots and see what you can draw out. And by doing this, by bringing Chidushei Torah into the world, you're bringing shefa and blessing. So I wish all of us to have the blessing that we need, and that when we fall down, we see that it's an opportunity, and that it's part of coming close to Hashem, and we utilize it in a good way to rebirth ourselves and to rekindle that flame that we have inside us, and through joy and through laying a foundation in our life of where there's a minimum amount of Jewish traditions that we practice on a regular basis, those falls slowly will become already a foundation, and a person can climb and climb and climb. Like a person goes down just so that they can come close to Hashem and make the next level possible. So I wish you all to have a good life of coming close to Hashem. Thank you. Please do share the video, and your comments are appreciated. Shalom from Jerusalem.